Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Welcome to the Bean Counter. I am your host, Julie Bonner. In this production, we will examine why profit does not equal cash. We will focus on timing issues that can occur throughout the income statement. It may be surprising that profit does not equal cash, but it is an important idea to get clear in your mind as you examine profit and loss statements if you want to become an entrepreneur through buying an existing business. As a reminder, we have the Bean Counter podcast, and we also have a corresponding YouTube channel. All links to the podcast and YouTube channel are on the website www.corebridge.com. For your learning style, you may need to utilize both channels to learn the material. Just use what suits you and your learning needs. Also, if you have any questions about the material, you can email me personally at julie@corebridge.com. When we think about our financial situation as individuals, our budgets are connected to our cash balance in our checking account. Because of this, we are trained to think that cash and profits are the same thing. Now, some companies may keep their books on a cash basis. However, if a company is publicly traded on the stock market, they are required to follow an accrual basis of accounting. Thus, if you study a company like Starbucks, their profits do not always equal cash. In fact, you must think of the profit and loss statement as estimated profit. If you are looking to open a coffee shop, your books would most likely be set up on a cash basis of accounting. However, if you study Starbucks financial statements to get a sense of financial viability, you will need to potentially understand what you are looking at in the profit and loss statement and how to make sense of it. Plus, regardless of the cash basis or accrual basis of accounting, there can be timing issues in recognizing profits, no matter if you are publicly traded or not. These timing issues are the bigger issue that you want to make sure that you understand when you analyze financial statements, specifically the profit and loss statement. In this episode, I will tell you of various timing issues and other topics that affect profits, and specifically in revenue accounts and expense accounts. First, on the profit and loss statement, the very first line is going to be the revenue line. Revenue represents the recognition of a sale or revenue event. That revenue line does not always mean that cash is in the bank. For example, for Starbucks, they sell coffee to Alaska Airlines. In doing so, they sell huge quantities, and because of the size of the order, Starbucks will extend credit terms to Alaska Airlines to pay for an invoice within, say, 30 days. Thus, if Alaska Airlines buys $100,000 worth of coffee on September 15th, then Starbucks will not get that cash until October 15th, even though the revenue is showing on the September profit and loss statement. Now, as a small coffee shop, you may not be selling huge orders like that to customers, but if you do invoice anyone, you will want to be clear on the terms that you're allowing for payment, whether that is an immediate payment, payment within 10 days, or other terms. Thus, when you are thinking perhaps of buying an existing coffee shop and you are looking at someone's profit and loss statement, you will want to make sure what the timing issues are with the customers. Do customers pay immediately with cash or credit card? Does the company invoice any customer? If you are paid by credit card, there is usually a very small delay on when the cash comes into your bank for the sale. Thus, you can think of credit card sales as cash sales. Second, in terms of revenue, you may very well sell gift cards. This is something that Starbucks does in their stores. However, when you sell a gift card, that is not a revenue event, but it is a cash event. So here's what happens. If a customer comes in and buys a $100 gift card, you will get the cash for that, but it will not be revenue as the other part of the transaction. Instead, that $100 will sit on the balance sheet as a liability because you are obligated to provide $100 worth of product or services to the person holding that gift card. Thus, if you sold that gift card on September 15th, you would get the cash, but no revenue. If the customer comes in on October 15th and purchases $20 worth of coffee and merchandise, then on that day, your $100 liability is reduced to $80, and you can recognize that $20 in revenue. In addition, cost of goods sold is the second major line item on the profit and loss statement. This account represents the cost of the goods you have sold. Thus, if you have a coffee mug and you sell it for $7, but it costs you $2 to purchase it, then when you sell that mug, you will also recognize the costs. However, if you sold that mug on June 10th, you may have purchased the mug in April. Thus, cash went out in April to purchase the mug, but you recognize the cost only in June. From April until June, that mug is sitting in inventory on the balance sheet. Finally, all companies can depreciate assets. For example, if you must buy equipment for your coffee shop, things like refrigerators, food storage containers, food cases, and coffee makers, you might be spending quite a bit of money. You can consider this a capital purchase and depreciate it over time. Think about it this way. If you personally own a car, you know that the original purchase cost of your car depreciates over time. In the accounting world, you can depreciate assets and take that depreciation expense as a reduction of your revenue, thus decreasing the taxes owed on your profits. However, depreciation expenses are not paid to any creditor or government agency. Thus, no cash is actually leaving your business. Thus, every time you look at an income statement, you want to know what kind of depreciation expense has occurred, because that deduction of an expense is money that is still most likely in the bank. Bottom line is this. As you examine a company's set of financial statements, make sure you know if any of these scenarios are at play in the profit and loss statement. As you can see, profits do not always equal cash. So as you study a profit and loss statement, be aware that these timing issues can be present. Thus, if you study Starbucks, you will want to see if you can find revenue recognition information. Or if you are looking at an existing coffee shop business to purchase, ask questions about credit terms, the mix of credit card transactions to cash transactions and gift card purchases. You will want to know how long money is tied up in inventory and if there are any depreciation expenses. Small businesses may not have as much of an influence on these timing issues, but it is best to ask now as you are considering purchasing a business to become an entrepreneur. All these timing issues is why a cash flow statement exists, and it is important to review if you're thinking about acquiring a business. I look forward to talking to you again soon. This is your host, Julie Bonner. As a reminder, we have the Being Counter podcast, and we also have a corresponding YouTube channel. All links to the resources are on the website www.corebridge.com. For your learning style, you may need to utilize both of the channels to learn the material. Just use whichever one or both suits you and your learning needs. If you want to correspond directly, send inquiries to julie@corebridge.com.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.